Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today, I'm joined by the fabulous Lady May. Welcome to the show, Lady May.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be here.
It's so good to have you here. Now, I have brought Lady May on the show today because not only is she a media expert, but she's also a personal brand consultant with a fantastic story to share. Please, Lady May, tell me your story and why you chose to work in this space.
My story is quite long, but I'll start with the Dubai bit. I mean, we are talking about around the Emirates and Dubai being the Emirates in which I live. I moved here about 5 years ago, and it's been quite a journey. Left a TV career back in Nigeria, working with one of the biggest TV stations in Africa. And I came because of love, because my husband was already here. He proposed to me. I said yes. I knew I was going to moved in, and had to start building myself again. So flip it. You're this very popular person in Nigeria. Everybody knows you. You move around with celebrities and newsmakers, and then you move to Dubai where nobody knows you or knows your organization. And I had to build from scratch. So in the 5 years, I've worn many hats, one of them being an international news correspondent, another being mother, wife. I've also started a few projects, businesses. And then the personal branding bit really came because I saw that it's a need. You come to a place like Dubai where everybody's got to build again at some level. And you find a lot of people who struggle to sort of build again, understand what is their brand identity in a place like Dubai. How do you stand out? It's quite competitive. So networking, personal branding, understanding what you offer, a must if you're going to survive in these waters. And so I looked at what I'd done for myself and I said, hey, this is something I can definitely offer people. And then when you also have people come in to you say, hey, can you help me? By the way, I also do public speaking, of course, with my history. And when you have people coming to meet you to say, hey, I need this, you realize that there's actually a need. And that's when it became a thing for me. And so now I help people with their personal brand. Businesses have also come along to say, hey, we need your expertise. And yeah, that's been the journey now so far for 5 years.
I love it. I love the fact that it was a risk that you took to build yourself from scratch, but you also knew that you could do it. So I love the fact that you went in believing in yourself and taking expertise and experience from building your repertoire in Nigeria as a well-known broadcaster, if I'm not mistaken.
100%. You're right.
That's amazing. So it's so cool you're able to bring those lessons to Dubai and start from scratch and essentially rebuild a whole new, fantastic profile for yourself. Now, you said it yourself. It's such a busy, crowded market here. Everybody wants to be on top. Everybody wants to have their name out there. What were the kind of challenges that you went through in this process, and how do you feel you overcame them?
Well, I wouldn't call it a challenge because for me, a challenge, I always flip it around, is an adventure. So it's one thing to see it as a challenge, but it's another thing to see it as an adventure. So I saw it more as an adventure. And in the beginning, of course, today you go into a room and you say Lady May, or you mention some of the platforms that I run. And maybe one person, depending on the kind of room, will say, oh yeah, I've heard about her. I've heard about that platform. But when I just moved to Dubai, it wasn't so, because new face, new life, new everything. The big task for me was to build my contact base. Now, I wanted to start in media when I just came in, still reporting for Nigeria. And two things that you need access and you need people. You need people to know about you. Also need to know people, and you need access to rooms, access to events. If you're telling stories, people want to hear the stories that matter, and you need access to those rooms. So I had to build from community level, and this is where community is very important, tapping into the African and Black community here in Dubai, talking to one person who knows another person, doing a couple of free jobs here and there for my public speaking and MCing, to get out there in front. Because there's one thing, whoever is holding the mic is a very powerful person. Just by holding the mic at an event, it's a very powerful position. And with my background in public speaking, understanding storytelling, and understanding the value that I bring, when I hold the mic, it's a whole different ball game. And so using opportunities like that to showcase myself, showcase my skills, and showcase what I could bring to the table, gradually people started knowing more about me. Ultimately, from one contact to another contact, ended up doing some stuff for Dubai Tourism, which really helped, both professionally and even personally. And it's been building on from there. So I think that we will always have tasks on this adventure, and how you see it plays a huge role. So I hope that answers your question about challenges.
Oh, you have perfectly answered my question. The fact that you see it as an adventure, shifting mindsets on viewing as a challenge itself, the fact that you were able to so successfully harness the power of networking. And I love the fact that you said the person who holds the mic has the power. Like you know how to take advantage of that platform in a way that is using your powers for good. And the fact that you were able to meet, I would imagine you met so many incredible people in the process of kind of, word of mouth and getting your name out there. And that takes me to my next question for you. Having gone through so many interesting experiences and journeys from Nigeria to Dubai, is there any kind of story or experience that kind of stands out to you as something that made a difference?
Hmm. I mean, I think I have a bunch of stories, but if time will permit me, I'll maybe share two. One was the story of a pregnant woman, a mom of quadruplets, who at the time was pregnant. So remember the time of COVID with the shutdowns and lockdowns and flights, commercial flights being cancelled. And so you could only go back home to your home country with the repatriation flights. So there's this story of this Nigerian lady. She's a like an office admin type of person, a small job. A husband, a cook in a kitchen, and she had quadruplets. She was pregnant with four babies naturally. Now look at the income bracket, right? Obviously, they didn't have insurance. So obviously, this couple didn't have money to go through that. They were trying to get back home to Nigeria to go deliver, where she will also get help, but she couldn't get a flight. And then the flight she got was really close to due date. But the funny bit is, she went into labor a month before time, a month before she was to travel. So here they are in Dubai at Latifa Hospital. Babies are in ICU. Mom is in the hospital. They're racking up the bills. They don't have the money to pay. And so the community, again, who were trying to support her, they reached out to me to say, hey, there's this story. Maybe there's something you can do. Remember, I've still got my links with the Nigerian TV. And then I did a story about this couple, put it up in Nigeria. Everybody was on this story. She got a lot of attention back in Nigeria. And just me thinking about, how else can I help this couple? They're trying to get the word out there and get help. I have contact with, friends in media, and particularly with CNN. And so I reached out to a contact there to say, hey, this might be a story that you'd like. Would you like to take it on? CNN also covered this story. And not too long afterwards, we're talking about, a few weeks, there was another story that the Crown Prince of Dubai's office took up their bill. I want to believe that they saw maybe the CNN story or some other story that ended up with this couple getting their bills paid by the Crown Prince of Dubai. They went back to Nigeria, but that is one story that I love to tell. I think it's one of the stories. If you ask me about, sharing what I've been honored to do in my life, I'm honored to have played a role in that. So that's one story. Another story is what led to the road to success. Now I'm tearing up. My gosh, what's going on? Another story I'd like to share is the story of the road to success, which is a platform and a community that I started. And I started this for people, really. So I came here. Yes, I had to figure it out by myself, but I think I definitely had leverage because all the skills that I have my profile. So I didn't just plop from nowhere. I've got history and a profile that would attract pretty much anyone. But I looked at my community and said, a lot of young people who had come into Dubai, land of opportunity, they were struggling with just everything. Dubai can be overwhelming. And imagine you're here, you don't have contacts, you're trying to you're trying to build a business, you're trying to get a career. You don't have everything together. You don't have the network, you don't have the skills, or you just need help. And I looked at myself and the fact that I have access. And that's one thing my life has blessed me with: access to people, access to places. And I said, you know what? People need information, they need network. What can I do? I talked about it for 1 year. Like, we need this. I was expecting someone else to do it. Like, why don't we have this in our community? Other communities have such and such. And then I just got tired of talking about it. And I said, listen, if you care about it so much, do something about it. And that's how I started the Road to Success seminar. So it started as a seminar. The first seminar we had over 100 people in the room. And people coming to me like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing this. You don't, like, they're praying for me. It's like I'm some fairy godmother that popped up and made all their dreams come true. But it was the value that the program brought, the quality and the authenticity of the conversations. So I got to invite people who were doing well in business, doing well in their careers, and brought them into the room for people who wanted to learn and network. And so it's not just networking. So we're not a networking event. We're really a learning platform. We're trying to build people. And so we've done 4 editions. We're gearing up for the 5th this year. If you're a sponsor and you're listening, talk to me. And, it's just been giving value. So we started with the seminars, then went into podcasts because I thought, listen, 1 event a year or 2 events a year is not going to cut it. Let's have a podcast that is ongoing so people can continue to learn. And then we thought, okay, we need a community. We need to house people, not just call them for the event and send them back. Let us house them. So we started monthly webinars, and now we're building a community. It's been another honor of my life to do this. And these are stories that I'm really passionate about. And I hope that they inspire someone else in their own journey.
Well, thank you very much, firstly, for sharing such beautiful stories with me. It's an honor to hear these stories on my show and for the listeners out there to also be part of this beautiful experience. I just have to say that you are such a, I mean, I've only been talking to you for like about 10 minutes, but I get the gist from your character that you're such a profoundly beautiful person. Like your character speaks volumes about who you are and what you've done for people and what you can do and choose to do. And what I love about it the most is how selfless it is. It's you don't gain anything by getting somebody attention on CNN for them to, to cover medical bills. You don't gain anything personally by helping people in their learning and development journey and how to manage their brand. You're doing it because you know the impact it will have, and you enjoy to see people successful and thrive. So I just want to put that out there because that honestly, it's so wonderful to speak to people like you that do something to drive positive change in the community, and it's one of the reasons I started the show. And that brings me to my next question when you mentioned inspiring the audiences. If there was one kind of message for the listeners and viewers that you wanted to share today, what would it be?
You see, that your skills, if you use them right, they will bring you opportunities. And not everything is about money, to be honest. In my journey of serving people, I found purpose, I found recognition. So you look at my profile today, you do so many amazing things, but most of it is because somebody saw something impactful I was doing. And then they were like, oh, who's this person? And then they got to know about what I do. And sometimes it's brought me business, it's brought me, to some degree, recognition, awards, and XYZ. But back to what I want to share with the audience is really look inwards, serve with your heart, serve with your skills. Sometimes I've done a lot of free, quote unquote, things that I wonder, this is not bringing me any money. But I believe that when you whatever you release will come back to you in another way. Dubai can be very, maybe not just Dubai, I think people in general and this fast-paced world of career and business can be very dog eat dog. Everyone is out for what is in it for me. I beg of you, do not be obsessed by just what you can take. Be passionate about what you can give as well.
I love that. Thank you so much for saying such a beautiful and strong and you would think easy message to send. And it's something that's so simple to do, but people definitely underestimate the power of kindness and doing something from the heart. And I completely believe in manifestations. What you put out there, you get back. And I'm so grateful that I was able to share your incredible story on the platform today.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you. Take care, Lady May. Bye.